when dancing became death in medieval streets. She stepped into the street, and she could not stop. Her feet moved of their own accord, twisting, stomping, spinning, until her shoes filled with blood. It was July 1518 in Strasbourg, a city of narrow cobblestone streets, half-timbered houses, and a population pressed by hunger, disease, and heat. One woman danced, and then another, and then another. Soon, hundreds were moving as if possessed, the city itself trembling beneath their steps. The chronicles of the time are chilling. Physicians wrote of faces contorted, bodies racked with exhaustion, limbs trembling, eyes staring beyond comprehension. Some fell and could not rise. Some danced until death claimed them from strokes, heart failure, or sheer exhaustion. It was called the dancing plague. But this was no mere dance. It was a city gripped by a mystery that defied reason. To understand it, we must step into their world. Medieval Strasbourg was a city under pressure. Poor harvests had left the population malnourished. The heat wave of that summer had worsened misery, swelling the ranks of the vulnerable. Religion was woven into every breath, every choice. Every illness, every misfortune was seen as a punishment from God. The line between body and soul, mind and spirit was thin, almost invisible. And then, the dancing began. Historians have speculated endlessly. Was it ergot poisoning, a hallucinogenic mold in rye bread sending bodies into convulsions? Or was it mass hysteria, what modern psychologists might call a conversion disorder, a psychosomatic outbreak where collective anxiety manifests in physical compulsion? Perhaps both. Perhaps something deeper, unnameable, a shadow in human nature itself. In the streets, the rhythm was relentless. Drums and fiddles were called to accompany them, a macabre orchestra for bodies that would not rest. City authorities tried everything. They built stages, opened public halls, brought in musicians, thinking that giving the dancers a place to perform would end the crisis. It did not. They forced them into confinement. They sought priests, exorcists, healers, anything to release the spell. And yet the plague continued. Imagine the human mind in that moment. Fear fed fear. Desire for relief fed compulsion. One body could no longer endure, but another picked up the dance. The contagion was psychological, social, spiritual, and terrifyingly real. It was a mirror of how humans respond when the systems that order their lives crumble. The lessons for us are subtle but profound. Mass psychology can be as deadly as any plague. Anxiety, stress, collective fear, these are invisible currents that move cities, nations, and communities. Leadership matters. How those in power respond to chaos, with clarity, compassion, or panic, can determine whether people survive or succumb to forces beyond them. Consider trauma. Not just individual trauma, but collective trauma. A society pressed by famine, by epidemic, by uncertainty, can manifest its suffering in ways that defy logic. The dancing plague teaches that human bodies are not passive vessels. They carry memory, stress, belief, and fear. And sometimes, when the mind cannot cope, the body acts violently, uncontrollably, in a desperate search for release. It is tempting to dismiss the event as medieval superstition, but the patterns are echoed today. Crowds swept by panic, financial crises igniting mass anxiety, social media amplifying fear into action. We see that when the structures that guide behavior break down, the human species does not pause. It reacts collectively, sometimes destructively. And yet, there is beauty in understanding. The dance, horrific as it was, reminds us of our shared humanity. Our bodies, our minds, our communities intertwined. Our suffering is often interconnected, even if invisible. We are never truly alone in chaos. Strasbourg's streets eventually emptied. The dancers exhausted, broken, some dead, some healed, left behind a city forever marked by an unexplainable summer. But the story did not die. It lives in the cautionary echoes of history, a warning and a guide. We see in it the fragile boundary between order and disorder, control and surrender, life and death. To reflect is to recognize our own vulnerability. Each of us dances, in a sense, to rhythms set by society, belief, and circumstance, and sometimes we move beyond our conscious choice. The story of Strasbourg is not merely medieval curiosity, it is a testament to the human condition, that when pressures mount, when systems falter, we find ourselves swept along by currents we cannot see, and yet we endure. So pause, breathe, consider. Look at the world and the invisible pressures around you. Notice how fear spreads, how hope falters, and how leadership or its absence shapes the outcome. The dancing plague of 1518 is more than a historical footnote. It is a mirror of human behavior, an urgent, visceral reminder that the mind, the body, and society are bound in ways we are only beginning to understand. And in that mirror lies the ultimate lesson. We are resilient. We are fragile. We are always together. If you found this journey into history gripping, subscribe for more deep dives into the strange, the extraordinary, and the human stories that echo through time. Dive with us and witness how history whispers lessons for the present and the future.